Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to be having some fun creating on the brand new Tim Holtz Tonic White craft mat. I'm looking forward to testing this out and seeing how it plays with all of the wonderful art supplies that we have here. So, if you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're going to be using today to create a fall card, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to be having lots of fun with fall colors, but before we get started, I need to pull in a brand new tool. We have got the brand new travel mat by Tonic and Tim Holtz. So we're going to be testing this out today. I'm very used to working on my all black background, but from what I hear, the white mat is going to help reduce some of the glare that I have been getting from the mat. Sometimes I've noticed we do see a bit of a reflection from the camera here. So we're going to see if the new mat will help cut some of that glare. So let's take a look. If we like, then I will probably look at investing in the full scale one. But for right now, we've got the gorgeous travel size. So this is interesting. When I'm looking at the camera, I do not see any glare here. But as soon as I look down in the mat from without the camera, I'm noticing a lot more glare than with this. So that is going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to look back at the footage and see what glare, if any, we're noticing from the mat itself. But to test this out, we need to pull out some art supplies. Since today we're going to be creating a fall-themed card, I decided this would be a great time to play with some distress sprays and mica sprays. For our colors today, we're going to be using mustard seed, carved pumpkin, and for our mica spray stains, we're going to include some fortune teller and decayed. So I'm just going to scoot those off to the side. And for our background, we're going to be working with the leaves embossing folder. This is Sizzix Tim Holtz, and that is a great fall pattern. So I've gone ahead and embossed a chunk of paper. As you can see, we've got some great detail, and that detail is going to pop even more once we start adding some color to it. So let's go ahead and start adding our color. So I embossed on some mixed media cardstock, and now I'm just going to give the paper a few spritzes with the Distress water sprayer, and then we can see how the color does. There, don't need to go overboard in the water. I'm going to start with the sprays. Good. And let's go in with some of that carved pumpkin. All right, not bad. And I do want to move this around a little bit, so I'm going to drip some water on there. Just a little bit. There we go. Good. And now I want to add in our mica sprays. So I am going to be doing a little bit of layering, but right now I just want to get the colors to mingle a little bit. So let's bring in some decayed. I'm going to give this a really good shake. Okay, that looks pretty incorporated. And we'll add just a little bit of this on here. There we go. That's good. Next, we're going to be adding a splash of fortune teller. Again, I want to shake that up. Make sure we get all that sediment in the bottom. There we go. And we'll add a little bit of that. Ooh, that's really, really strong, but we're going to push that around a little bit with some water. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start drying this off, and we'll see what we get. Here is our dried background, and check out the gorgeous mica stain here. Loving that a lot. So let's do a little bit of quick cleanup on here. Interesting. I might be noticing a little bit more shadow than before. That's interesting. But let's go ahead, spray this, and then we're just going to wipe that off with our cloth. And that's going to wipe away very nicely. There we go. It's the same surface that we've been using right along. The top part is made out of tempered glass, and we've got all of those lines way under the glass, so they're not going to scrape off or anything. But just giving that a quick clean. Good. Okay, so we've got our work surface all nice and clean and ready to go. Now let's bring that base back, and I want to focus on even more of that lovely textured detail that we have here. And to do that, I'm going to be pulling in the Distress Archival Ink Black Soot so that I can highlight these raised edges. Now, there's a couple of ways you could do this. You could run this through the embossing folder again and get some more detail from the ink being smushed. You could take a brayer and run that over the ink pad and run it over the top. That would give you kind of a light look. But I'm kind of going for something heavy-ish, so I just want to run this directly over the paper. There we go. Being pretty light-handed, just letting that run over those raised edges just to get that detail. And look at the detail popping in. That is very cool. Love that. And that just gives me more of that fall vibe and a little bit of grunge going on here. That's fun. Ooh, really like that. Okay, so very happy with our background. We've got that great shimmer. We've got some grunge going on. We've got our texture detail. All good things. So the next thing I want to do with this is add some decorative washi tape around the edges. I'm going to be doing a layered card. We're going to have a base layer of gold, and then we'll have this layer, but I want to create the illusion of a second, maybe third layer with the washi tape on the edges. Just for more added color, and it pulls in the black that we have here, so it just will help pull everything together. All right, ooh. Just got to, whoa, why is my paper peeling up? That's odd. Okay. There. Huh. That was odd. My paper started disintegrating, but I should be able to put that back together. All right, let's just use the tape. I'll reinforce that corner that tried to implode on me. Huh. That's never happened before. Okay, take that, that, flip that over, put that here. Wow, that really took a chunk out of my card. That's not what I was expecting. Okay, we'll do that. Tuck the little extra bits of tape. Good. And let's hope this side doesn't do anything odd. All right, good. Maybe I just had like a wet corner or something. That's okay. I can work around it. Take that. There we go. I just love using the Ideology decorative tape, adding extra borders here and there. It's definitely one of the looks I love doing for cards. Okay, good. And over here, let's run another. Oh, it's doing it again. It's lifting. Why? Why is that lifting? Okay. Ooh. That is just weird. I've never had that happen before. Okay, I'm just trying not to have that paper go anywhere. Ooh. Wow, that's a bit of a mess. Okay, not what I was expecting at all, but let's do our best to cover that mess up right there. Okay, so more tape. we'll just cover that right up. So we'll take that, put that here. There we go. I don't think you can even tell that I had a issue on that side. Good. Put that there. You know what? I don't even want to touch this top part. I'm afraid it's going to disintegrate. We're just going to go straight in there with the washi tape and hope that it sticks. Okay. I've got that. Let's place this here and running all the way along there. So far, so good. All right. That should work. Okay. So I think we're going to put that right onto our background, and to do that I'm going to be using some foam squares, as I am not trusting the ATG tape at the moment. I don't want this to disintegrate any further, so we're playing it safe and sticking foam squares on the back, and that will give us the bonus of a little bit of lift, which is never a bad thing when building dimension on cards. Okay. So far I'm liking the lightness, but I don't know. It almost feels too bright now. But maybe my eyesight is good enough that I'm not straining yet, so I don't necessarily need the extra brightness behind me when I'm working. That's going to be interesting. I'll be curious to see down the road if the lighter background is going to help. I don't have the best of vision to begin with, but I don't think it's bad enough that I need the boost from the white background yet. All right, background. I want to layer this up with some craft stock. We've got some lovely gold Ideology craft stock. We'll take this, do our best to center that. Good. Okay, happy with that. Now I'm going to be pulling in a favorite die set. We've got Feathered Friends. Oh, these are silhouette birds. I love those. We've got all the birds in different poses, and there has been another set of these released in the From the Vault collection, and you'll find birds in that set as well. But I like this size, and it's going to work with the card. Now, recently we had a Tim Holtz live with some fantastic fabric. Now, I dug into my fabric stash and die cut a bunch of these birds out, and I thought it would be fun to include the birds on a fall card. When I think fall, flannel is definitely one of those images that comes to mind. So I glued the flannel fabric onto some mixed media cardstock, and then I die cut a whole bunch of birds, and we'll use one or two on our card. But before we do that, I want to add in some branches, and we're going to build a little scene with some branches and some fall foliage. Now, the fall foliage I got from the Vault set foliage wreath, and there are all sorts of fun pieces here, and I wanted to incorporate the leaves in this card. So let's go ahead and bring those over. I've got all sorts of fun leaves here, lots of fall colors. There we go. And I'll be able to add those along with the branches. So I've already die cut these branches, and I coated them with double-sided sticky tape, so nice and easy to add to the card. So let's put one here. Do another one on the other side. And then I've got this one that can go right here. So that is good. All right, maybe I can even tuck this under the tape just a little bit to hide the edge. Let's see, right about here. Good. Okay, so far so good. And I think for this one, I'm gonna need some collage medium. So just take a little bit, I'll run that along the branches, And be all set to stick down. Good. Okay, right along there and there. All right. Now these branches, a couple of them I cut from some scrap paper, and the one that I'm holding right now, this I die cut out of some of the Ideology packaging. I always save the Ideology packaging because it makes such great fodder material when I need to die cut things. Okay, now let's add in our bird. Let's see here. I think I want this one. And yeah, we will give that bird just a little bit of dimension. I'm gonna put some foam squares on it. There we go. And then we will add in our fall leaves. Good. Oh my word, that plaid flannel is so good. I love that. Now we've got all of these leafy pieces that we die cut from scraps. So I'm going to kind of just roughly place things and we'll figure out what's going to end up where. Just love fall leaves. Favorite time of the year. That's good. I like that. And I want a few branches. Let's see if I took that right in here. Ooh, I like that. Move that leaf over. Yeah, I'll need some collage media to stick all this down, but I can get an idea of where I want to put things. Maybe I'll put that one here. Move that up. Good. Ooh, I want to stick this over here. That's good. And maybe I can do one more along here. Yeah, there we go. And I'll put a leaf here. Perfect. I like that. And the only thing I'll need to do will be to add a sentiment. So let's get these glued down. And I'll pretty much bring all of our fall colors together. So thinking about the new Tonic matte in white, I love that it's the same durable material that I've grown to enjoy with the first glass matte that came out with Tonic. So super happy about that. I'm still not sure whether or not the white is going to be the best for me to work on. I actually am finding it harder to look at, which is interesting. I've heard from many other crafters that they think that this matte is easier on the eyes, but due to the nature of my job, I tend to get tension headaches, and the added glare of the white is actually a little bit much sometimes. But I'm determined to continue to play with this and see what I think long term. To me, the black is a bit softer on the eyes, and I find it's a bit more mellow when I'm not feeling as good. As for the glare, it looks like the glare from the camera has been substantially diminished, and I'm really, really surprised because from the camera angle, there isn't any glare, but from the angle that I'm crafting at, I've got tons of glare and reflection. I can see pretty much everything from out my window, which is very interesting. I'm wondering why the camera isn't picking up on that reflection. But if we were using the black matte, then I would be seeing a lot more things from the window, but reflected in the camera. So I'm wondering if that's a camera thing or if it's just the nature of the way the matte is. So I am curious about that. I look forward to hearing from other crafters and what their experience has been with the new matte. Now, another thing that I've noticed, we don't get our little spots on the side anymore where we kind of used to have a palette. I do like that there's more space for measurements. I think that is excellent. But especially when I've been alcohol inking, I love that little boxed off grid. So that's one thing that is different, and I'm wondering also how other people are going to feel about that. I love the more space, but I miss my little boxes. I know these are still also boxes, but I liked having like a little corral to put supplies and like build a custom watercolor pad with inks or distressed crayons. And I just liked having that little area. So I kind of miss that, but having the extra measuring space, that could be a definite bonus in some ways, because this is the exact same amount of space going in this direction as the full-size mat. Both of them measure up to 14 inches, and going in the opposite direction, they both were measuring at, well, the full-size one was measuring at 12. This one measures at 9. So that part is interesting as well. I'm not conclusive as of yet to whether or not this is worth it. I think if you're an older crafter who has trouble seeing things and details and like trying to find little pieces on a mat, then this would be 100% necessary type of thing. But as a younger crafter myself, only I'd say mid to late 30s, I'm not having nearly as much eye strain, so I think that the black mat is going to be more compatible with me for the time being. But long term, we shall see if that remains true or not. But bonus, I now have a second craft mat to play with, and even better, if I have friends over to craft, then they too can experience the delight of crafting on a glass mat. So it is a win no matter how I'm looking at it. Okay, so we've got our leaves, we've got our trees, we've got a bird. Now we need a sentiment. So let's go ahead and choose a sentiment. I am looking at the Tim Holtz Ideology Metallic Sticker Booklet. Definitely one of my favorite places for sentiments. So let's see here. Oh, perfect. Choose joy. For me, fall is the most joyful season. It's the one time when I'm not sneezing or struggling to breathe, so I love the fall. The temperature's just right, you get the pretty leaves, and no allergens. So fall is my absolute favorite. So for me, it is the most joyful season of the year. All right, there we go. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner. Today, we've had some fun with fall colors and textures to create this fall-themed card featuring some distress sprays, mica sprays, and even some of the Tim Holtz Free Spirit fabric. And I gotta say, I love the fabric and it is great for die cutting. Not only did we make a card today, but we also explored some of the possibilities with the brand new Tim Holtz Tonic glass mat. I am super curious. What do you prefer? Do you like seeing these videos with the extra bright background, or do you like our classic black background? So I would love to hear down in the comments which is easier on your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner. Until next time, happy crafting.